And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the late night show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the, premier late night show for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Hey, I've got a monologue for you. So let's get to the jokes. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi was fired this week. Well, look who has Trump derangement syndrome now. You should be apologizing. During an address to the nation on television, President Donald Trump said the U.S.-Iranian war was already won, but didn't mention a timeline of pulling out. That's the same exact tactic that his ex-wife used when they were in bed together. Did you finish? Oh, totally. NASA launched the Artemis II, a 4-person mission meant to get human eyes on the dark side of the moon. Didn't we already do that already in the third Transformers movie? That's right. Chicago was destroyed and Megan Fox wasn't in it. And Sideswipe said he wanted to go to Geno's East on the South Loop, but Wheeljack was adamant that the one on Magnificent Mile was better, and they fought for 13 whole blocks before they landed on just getting Pequods because it was easier. The Artemis II mission is 10 days long, and the crew already had to fix the toilet on board. I guess Trump shouldn't have given them their special moon meals of Big Macs and chicken nuggets. California Governor Gavin Newsom's team is in hot water for responding to critics on the right with an insult that suggested they were gay, which is pretty funny coming from the bunch of homos that I know that work for old Gav. A judge blocked further construction of the White House ballroom with his written ruling, including 19 exclamation points. That's a pretty gay way of telling someone that they can't do something. A federal judge finds Trump violated free speech by ordering the NPR and PBS defunded. In response to the win, Sesame Street released a new song called Fuckoff. And finally, Meta and the Motion Picture Association settled on allowing teen Instagram accounts to see only PG-13 related material, which equates to tits but no bush. And those are all the jokes I have for you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That wasn't funny. Thank God there's a breakdown for a couple of weeks. That's right. We're coming up on the end here of the regular season for late night TV shows. This week it was a real stretch because there was no Kimmel. All they had was The Daily Show, The Late Show, and Fallon, and then which is The Tonight Show. And last week Tonight. Anyway, on The Tonight Show, it seems like they were riding the high of BTS. All week long, but John Hamm popped up, and he and Fallon did a Virgin Soul Singers thing, a bit that was pretty funny. Jack Quaid was there, and then the Begsons performed, which is a band I don't even know. Cameron Diaz was there. There was a very funny bit in the monologue called "Tomorrow Stars Today," and it's obviously this is a week that was leading up to Easter, and they were going to go on a 2-week hiatus, or however long their hiatus is. But it was so long, and it was very funny. It was a very funny bit, and I don't know the writer's name, and every single time he pops up on the show, I'm always trying to find this writer's name. And I also appreciate that Fallon is using his writers more as bit players in the show. But anyway, it's a very funny bit where this guy kept going back to singing the same song over and over again. And I forgot which song it was, but it was just such a good time. Cameron Diaz showed up, and then they did a slow turn, tiny nod thing. Dan Levy was there. Tim's performed, looking gorgeous, my goodness. Let's see. The cast of the Super Mario Galaxy movie did like a pre-record song thing. There was a Darts of Insanity game. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson were there to talk about the drama. Regé-Jean Page showed up, and they're breaking out the bits from the monologue into separate things. 6WA what is this? Big X the Plug, Rossima, Young Hood, and PB all performed there. They did a puppy prediction of the Final Four championship. Jimmy told a story about his daughter. Jack Black, Olivia Munn, and Jafar Jackson were there. And then Modi performed stand-up. The Jafar Jackson thing is, the appearance is interesting because I don't think that movie from the Jackson family's perspective is going to be, I don't think it's going to be good. But people love their Michael Jackson. I don't know why we're giving air to this. Air to this at all. Okay. Hold on, I have to mute. No, that was pressing up on the music. Okay. On the music. On the sound. Okay. On the Late Show, felt like a little bit of a quiet week over there as well. It just feels like it was a quiet week all around. David Byrne performed, and then he sat down for an interview, and John Mulaney was there as well. And he gave Colbert a $750 check. Arsenio Hall was returned, or I guess showed up to talk about his book. Nathan Lane was there as well. Maggie Rogers performed Alaska, and I love me some Maggie Rogers. And she also performed One for My Baby. And I'm going to pretend that is for me. Meryl Streep showed up. Paul Simon appeared, and he also performed, and Rami Youssef also appeared. And then Scarlett Johansson's Questionnaire aired. There was also a Meanwhile segment. It felt like the audience was extra clappy this week, so I barely watched the monologues for Colbert. Jon Stewart appeared on The Daily Show this week, and he talked about the No Kings rallies, and he also interviewed Cindy Cohn. Desi Lydic took over the next 2 days because, the next 2 days because they were dark on Thursday. And she spoke to Julio Torres. There was a sports war bit, and Dr. Mary Claire Haver showed up, and Lewis Black did one of his pieces. And then last week tonight, he covered Victor Orban. John Oliver did. Okay. Wow, this is going to be a very short episode. I think the monologue took over the majority of that. Okay, let's talk about what happened. Have I got news for you? United States has been renewed for season 5. If you watched the season finale of, I think, episode 10 of Have I Got News for You, that aired last Saturday, Roy Wood Jr. said they'll be returning in the fall, and so we'll get another 10 episodes of that. I think that show is so wonderful. I wish I'd watched it when it was initially airing in that first season. I think I started in the second season. I guess is what is considered the second season. But that show is so wonderful, and obviously that show was going to come back. I'm glad CNN was very smart. When I said, also, hold on, in the monologue for this episode, I had a joke. I want to get this off of my chest. I had a joke that was during an address to the nation on television. President Donald Trump said the U.S.-Iranian war was already won, but didn't mention a timeline of pulling out. That's the same tactic each one of his ex-wives used when they were in bed that I did. Trump voice, did you finish? And they go, totally. I also, here's a little addition to that. This is something that came on top of my head when I was doing the joke. There should be a spinoff. There should be a Broadway play called Sick, and it just features the wives, and they sing a song, We're Sick. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's a take on the show 6, the 86-minute show. I think it's 86 minutes. So I'll work that in there at some point. Anyway, Have I Got News for You is great. I was thinking about this when I was watching this week. It would be interesting because CNN airs now, they air the Bill Maher show. So they air Bill Maher, and I don't know if it's Friday or Saturday, but I think Have I Got News for You would be better served if it was shot and aired on a Friday. I know it's shot and aired on Saturday. And then for last week tonight, I believe they're shot on Saturday and aired on Sunday. I think, but this has nothing to do with that show. I think Have I Got News for You would be better served if it aired on a Friday night. So I understand if you air on a Saturday night, the expectations are bottom. but you air it on you air it on a Friday and pair it up with a not live, but a simulcast, an HBO simulcast of Bill Maher's show. You have yourselves a hit. Oh, so that means I think Bill Maher's show is aired on Saturdays then on CNN. I've made no secret. I love Have I Got News for You. It's so funny. Roy is fit for that job. I think they should do 13 episodes. They should have gone on break around Easter and then come back in May for 3 more episodes. But it's fine. It's so quick. And finally, this was pointed out by the website Late Nighter. I'll show you. SNL alum Devon Walker calls out cast whiteness, quote, institutional trend at play. It's written by Matt Webb-Mitovich. This is something that I took notice of last year. Truly. This is something I took notice of last year. This is something I took notice of 3 years ago. It's something I always have in the back of my mind. Devon Walker commented on a Vanity Fair Instagram post that featured Mikey Day, James Austin Johnson, Ashley Padilla. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm looking at her face. Chloe Fineman. There we go. Jane Wickline. Jane Walker. Who's Jane Walker? And Sarah Sherman. I did that all without looking at names. But it was, they did like a Vanity Fair video, and then I guess Vanity Fair shared it to Instagram where they played a game, and Devon Walker commented, "LOL, I forgot everyone on the show is white now." He also added, "The 90s is back." And it's very true. This has to be the whitest cast in years. And there's already been fans don't care. I know fans do not care because, first of all, fans in quotes, because they will say comedy doesn't need race and blah blah blah. It's ridiculous. It's SNL has the whitest cast, with the exception of Michael Che, Kenan Thompson, Michael Che, and Cam Patterson, as well, and including Marcelo Hernandez. That's 4 people of color. Cam Patterson seems like he doesn't want to be there, so I'm going to say Kenan Thompson, Michael Che, and Marcelo Hernandez. That's 3 people of color, and it is just so frustrating to see this show just steer into people who seemingly have one talent, and that's pretty much it. Like, oh, they have the weirder white girl who has a mullet, and then they have a couple of years ago they let this person go, but oh, she could sing, but she never was funny. I'm talking about Chloe Trost. It doesn't make sense. And mind you, yes, these people can be funny. Yes, I did make fun of Sarah Sherman, but she's often always, just asking for laughs. Or like saying, "I'm the ugly one." Like, just who fucking cares? You're on television. You're doing jokes. Just be funny. That's not funny. At some point, it's just annoying. But But again, she can also be a skillful person. And James Austin, I don't need to see his Trump anymore. I think I'm done with that. I've been done with that for 3 years. It's just so frustrating to see this. They make the same mistakes over and over again. It's the one thing I do not like about like if I had to choose one thing, it's one thing about SNL and about Lorne Michaels. It's just that Lorne Michaels' methodology is that I don't think this is good for the show, and then to choose, with the exception of Cam Patterson, but to choose in the last couple of years to pick up 5 repertory players and all of them are white is just bonkers to me. When you like, I was looking at the cast for SNL UK, and with the exception of a few, like Anya Magliano and Emma Seedy, a lot of those people did not have a lot of followers on Instagram or I hate to refer to him as this, but the twink. The twink. He refers to himself as the homosexual, so I can say that. But I think he was big on TikTok. But the fact is, but I guess the bottom line of that is, those people, when they were chosen for that show, with the exception of Anya Magliano and Emma Seedy, because they were on Taskmaster, a lot of them did not have over 10,000 followers on Instagram. Or even some of them just had a couple thousand, or they weren't even active. If you can choose people from across the country to do SNL, if you're really sending people out, then really send people out and get what Americana is. Now, what Midovich writes here is that, he continues on talking about how there's no black people on the show, but there's no people of color on the show. Beyond that, when Bowen Yang left, oh my gosh, that really kind of, I was like, wow, this is gonna be the whitest. Because Ego left and then Bowen was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Now, when an SNL fan account shared a screenshot of Walker's comment on X, noting, quote, SNL used to have Devon Walker, the former cast member replied, quote, no disrespect to the homies, I got a lot of love for them, but there is an institutional trend at play that is very under-discussed IMO, which means, in my opinion. So, it's apparently there's things that happen at SNL, which we all know, that just keep people out. I know Taron Killam, while he didn't hate his time there, but he just did not like being painted as playing effeminate characters. And after hearing him on You Made It Weird on Pete Holmes's podcast, he does pretty good impressions. He's pretty funny. He's very funny at impressions. So Devon Walker was let go from the show, and then Emil Joaquin, who was Lebanese, was let go from the show, and then Ego left. So we lost all those people. We lost 3 people of color in one foul move. One swift move. At some point, Midovich writes, Late Nighter reported in the wake of Ego's exit and Wodom's exit that 3 black women made it to the in-studio audience phase for season 51, but none of them made the cut. That echoes similar sentiments that happened with Leslie Jones years ago, when Keenan brought up that there were no black women on the show, and he said he was done wearing or doing cross-dressing. SNL went and tried out 3 black women, and they brought back Sashir, and then they put Leslie Jones in the writer's room, and then they made her, I guess, a player. Just do that. And I understand that there's, 12 people on the cast right now, or however many people on the cast. But so far, and again, this is not to be rude or mean, but 4 of those people are the exact same person. Just because Veronica Slovikova can sing or do whatever doesn't mean she's funny. Same thing for Jeremy Colhane, or the guy who has the 90s part down his head. There's every single repertory player has, and yes, they have to prove themselves. They have to appear in the Weekend Update as a character. They get featured in a sketch as like the lead or whatever. But if you keep giving chances to this people that look the exact same, then that's what you're going to keep reproducing. And I'm surprised they have not learned that 51 years in. Leslie Jones, former cast member Leslie Jones, said during an October podcast appearance, that's October 2025, that she sends along suggestions for cast additions all the time because, quote, I don't think they get to see as many black women as they need to see. Surveying the talent pool that typically serves as the SNL farm system, quote, they have black women sketch groups, a lot of them, but they don't get the love that the other sketch groups get, Jones explained. You have to go and search for them. And yes, that's true. You have to look for the things that you don't have. But because if you keep looking for the same people, and again, that's no offense to 90s Part and Veronica and Jeremy and Jane and Sarah and Chloe. I think Ashley is very funny, so I'm just going to leave it. But that's and I think Chloe's funny too. And I think they're all funny. But you have to look and search and do the hard work. You can't just go to UCB on one Saturday night, UCB in New York on one Saturday night, and see an all-white casting. Because that's what improv is. Truly, that's what improv is. It's just all white people doing those jokes. And then you have the formerly known, I think they changed their name, but there's a group of black improv, including Lamar Woods and some others. I think Iffy Wadaway. And their group used to be called White Women, which is so funny. But you have to look for them. And that truly is on you. 51 years in. And again, it's not just black. You have to be if you want to do these jokes about everybody. If you want to apologize if you want to make Pete Davidson apologize to a veteran senator who's missing an eye because he lost it during a war or something, you have to be representative of everybody. You're gonna be like, what do those two things have to do with each other? It happened. And it's so stupid. If Katie Rich, was it Katie Rich, had to get in trouble because she wrote a joke about Barron Trump being a school shooter, then yeah, and she had to apologize. Then why not go the extra route and hire some colored people? It's ridiculous. I agree with Devon. All right, listen. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, to see a video to see all this shit I do, I guess. I don't know. Oh, God. If you want to see a video version of the show, as well as a video version of the other podcasts, LinkedIn Log, the Jobs and Business News podcast, and the Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News podcast, as well as the interviews I do with celebrities, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on social media at @CPlusComedy on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.